Hello, my name is Gary Williams. I'm Director of Corporate Communication here at Durham, and you're listening to Stuff You Should Know about Durham Region. Thanks for joining us today. Today, we're joined by Regional Chair John Henry, and he's going to talk a little bit about the year that was and the year ahead. How are you doing today, John?
I'm doing well, and thank you for asking. I'm great to be here.
That's great. Well, before we talk about this year coming up, I know a lot of people don't even want to talk about 2020, but I do want to talk about it and get your reflections on it. So when you think about that year, and I know it has been an incredibly challenging year as a leader going through 2020 and what we did, but when you look back at 2020, what comes to mind? What do you think of? How was that year for us in the region?
Well, you're right. It was and has been the most challenging year in the history of this country since the Second World War. It has affected every Canadian and well, everyone around the world, and Durham has been no exception. And it was. You're right. The term is challenging, but it also, within the challenge of this organization, also created some incredible opportunities. And I'm incredibly proud that while we went from, a great start to 2020, when March came in, we declared the emergency order. We were able to shift on our feet, move very quickly. We were able to get our employees working from home. We were able to meet all the needs of our residents, service as usual. And I'm proud that we were able to adapt and overcome those challenges. Normally, if you shifted an organization to what we had to do in 2 weeks, it would normally have taken two years or more, and we did it very quickly. Incredibly proud of the team and how they reacted to the challenges of COVID-19.
Yeah, and that's a good point because if you think about how quickly we shifted, thousands of staff over to, an online environment, there's so many challenges. There's technical challenges. There's just, cultural challenges. Did you actually think we were going to be able to do it that quickly? When that came about, what were your thoughts? Just, how we were going to do this?
Well, as COVID started and as we declared the emergency, every day became different. How we did business in the past doesn't happen anymore. The fact that we're doing this today virtually is now how we do business. It's the new norm here at the region. How we were able to adapt to online meetings, how we took advantage of the technology that was in front of us to meet the needs of not only our residents, but how this organization functions. We have close to 6,000 employees. We deliver all the essential services to the residents of Durham Region. Everything that they do from the time they wake up in the morning, it's from turning on the tap and getting a glass of water till the time they go to bed, the roads they drive on, and all the things in between, managing long-term care, policing, our paramedics, child care, water and sewer, and traffic lights in our roads. So it was very complicated. We had to change how we did business, how we responded to those calls. We were sending teams out, and instead of having 4 people in a truck, we'd have to send 4 people in 4 trucks. It was about how we adapted. And what's really exciting is that the organization grasped the need very quickly for change and how we do things. And we can see that from the time the resident at somewhere in Durham picked up the phone and called here, they had no idea that the person answering their phone wasn't working in one of our buildings, that they were working from home, but those services that they were requesting or what they needed was met. It was just met in a very different way, but we were able to continue on. As for our residents, it was business as usual. They didn't see those challenges that were happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, it was quite impressive how we flipped that switch and adapted, quickly. So that is impressive. 2020 wasn't all bad. There was a lot of great highlights from a regional perspective. You take the GM announcement, the investments in broadband and transit. What stands out for you? What are some of the highlights from your perspective?
Well, that we were able to make this happen even though we were challenged. So when you write about exciting things, so every one of our municipalities has had growth. You see tower cranes popping up. Construction is ongoing. You're seeing people moving into the region. So there's all of these things. And you mentioned, General Motors. What a great story to start, have that plant come back online and be an important part of automobile manufacturing, trucks, and the great history of the McLaughlin family. But at the same time, if it wasn't for COVID-19, Durham Live would be open, one of the largest gaming facilities in Canada. Kubota has moved into Pickering. Toto has moved into Clarington. The province put money into Algoma Orchards for how they are manufacturing and dealing with apples. And then if you go to the northern parts of the communities, all of the things that were going on, the growth and all that continued. We didn't close our doors because of COVID-19. What we did is we adjusted how we do business. So every plan of subdivision, every new design for a road, all of the information that flows up from the lower tier municipalities still got processed and still managed and got out the door. So even during COVID and the challenges of COVID, you've seen houses are continuing to be built, apartment buildings, and you're seeing some great things happening and job creation. Durham Region is the fastest growing region in Ontario.
Yeah, it is quite amazing. And then shifting gears to talk more about 2021, from a regional perspective, what are some of the big things that are on the horizon for this year?
Well, I think that we'll start with Dr. Kyle, our medical officer of health. You know, we're now delivering the vaccines that into our long-term care facilities, and that's going on as we speak. Our staff in those facilities are now being able to get the vaccine. You know, as we reach out into retirement homes and then we reach out further into the general public, the great work that our healthcare team has done under the leadership of Dr. Kyle and Dr. McTavish and all of the people that work there, the fact that we're able to still provide emergency childcare to the people that are out there looking after us that do have other jobs. So going forward, it's really business as usual. We will continue to drive the growth in Durham Region and make sure that our opportunities are recognized. We are being looked at from all over the world. You can see that in the people that are coming into Durham to develop their businesses and create those jobs, and those jobs create hope and opportunities for the people that live in our communities. So we'll continue to work hard to make sure that Durham is a place where people choose to establish their businesses, live, work, play, and of course we can talk about learning. We are very lucky to have Durham College, Ontario Tech, and Trent University right here. We're also very lucky that we have one of the finest healthcare systems in the province of Ontario and one of the best cancer treatment centers at Lakeridge Health.
So lots to look forward to in 2021. You mentioned the vaccine rollout, and that I think does give people hope. There's some light at the end of the tunnel when that's going to be rolled out fully. But we're not out of the woods yet. We're in a provincial stay-at-home order currently. So what is your message to residents who, they're looking forward to the vaccine, but they might be letting their foot off the gas a bit? What's your message to them?
So really, when you look at the vaccines, I'd like to compare it to a marathon. This is the start, and we've got a long way to go. But just because you can't see the COVID-19 virus doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And today we're into January. It's January 14th, and you look at the numbers of cases within the region, the number of challenges within our healthcare system. So to our residents, under the new order put out by the province, if you don't have to go out, stay home, follow the rules, help us help you. Our healthcare teams in our hospitals, and we have more than one LHINs here too. We have our hospital in Uxbridge too. Those people go to work every day to make sure that we get the care that we need, and we need to help them by staying home so we don't fill our hospitals to capacity. So COVID-19 is not over. Follow the rules, listen to our medical officer health, listen to what the province is saying. And now you said earlier, we are under this social distance compliance, and bylaw officers and police officers are out there making sure that we don't gather in large groups. We can beat this. We did, in early 2020, we did very well dealing with COVID. We've had some challenges and the numbers are growing. We need to rethink how we do this. You don't necessarily have to go out and get your groceries. Have a service deliver them. If you're going to go for a walk on your street in your neighborhood. Don't travel outside of that. And of course, don't go outside of the group of people that are in your home. Now's the time to practice social distancing, but you can still do it. You can still have that conversation with family and friends. You just have to do it through a media, whether it be Zoom or even FaceTime.
Good messages. And finally, how are you doing personally? This has been a challenging year to lead, as we talked about. How are you staying so positive? How are you making your way through your pandemic? Just how are you managing on a day-to-day basis?
Well, first of all, it is a privilege to be here in this position at the region and to have gained the confidence of the residents. And, every day I think about how we can do things better to make their lives better. And I truly thank them for their support. But I couldn't do it without the support of the people that work in this building. We have a great team here, and every one of our employees here is key, whether it be the people that you see, our police officers and our paramedics, the people that work in our long-term care facility, the people you don't see, early childhood care, our call centers, our people that work in the water treatment plants and wastewater plants that come to work every day, do an amazing job. And then I'm very lucky. I have an incredibly supportive wife, Kathy, who understands the hours that are needed, that relate to COVID-19, because it's not just COVID-19. It's the day-to-day stuff that we do every day in the region, and then it's the extra 3 to 4 hours a day of work related to COVID-19. So I chat to my kids who both live out of town, Danielle and Jessica. We do it through, we do FaceTime, family time, a couple times a week. I chat to them on a regular basis, and then I chat to my friends using the media that we're using now, FaceTime. But you're right, it has been very busy, but it's incredibly easy to stay positive when you work with people that are all working for the same common goal. And that is to make sure that our residents here in Durham get all the services they need, and we make them as safe as possible.
That's great, and that's a great way to end this podcast on that such a positive note. I want to thank you for chatting today, Chair Henry, and we will definitely have you back on our podcast in the near future.
Well, thank you. But what I really want to say is I get the privilege of talking to you today, but there's 6,000 regional employees that hold me up every day. And these are the folks that people don't see. And, we need to make sure that we thank them. It's a different world than it was before, and it will be like this for a long time. But for the folks that work here at the region, no matter where you are a key part of this organization. The work that you do every day is vital to the success of the region and making sure that our residents are safe. So while I get to be the person speaking here today, really there are all these people that need to be recognized for the amazing work they do. They come to work every day. They do what they need to be done so that our residents receive the services that not only they expect, but also make what Durham is the reason why people move here to live here. It is a great place to live, and it's really the team that does that. So thank you for letting me do that. But really, I want to thank every regional employee for everything they do each and every day to make this place one of the most amazing places in Canada to live.
That's great. Thanks again, Chair Henry, and thank you to our listeners for tuning in. And remember to follow us on our social media channels and click into durham.ca for all the latest information, not just about COVID, but all the other programs that we offer as a region. Thanks again, Chair Henry, and look forward to speaking to you again.
Oh, thank you. And please stay safe. And as I finish every conversation, wear your mask, wash your hands, don't gather in large groups, and together we'll be Durham strong.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.